So I thought I would take the opportunity to explain a little bit about how Columbia's parking utility works and my experience with the parking utility and the towing service that's provided by a couple of local towing companies. So a few years ago, someone at the city decided it was a bright idea to build some giant parking garages. One of them, affectionately known as Garagezilla, is down across from the post office. There's another one that was built to service the new hotel downtown. Nice hotel, but the city decided it would be important to provide a parking garage for that. So in order to build these parking garages, what happened? The city needed money to do that. They needed to borrow money to do that in the form of bonds. So a government bond, the way that works is it's similar to how it works if you borrow money to buy a car or house. They look at, the lending institution looks at your income and decides if you're creditworthy, decides on a rate of interest to charge you based on your credit and your income, and then gives you the money to do what you want to do with it, and you pay it back with interest. What the city needed to do was show a new source of income to secure a better rate and to secure the bonds in general. So what they did, they opted to up the parking fines, parking fees, parking rates, and use their parking utility to show a new revenue stream to pay the interest to the bondholders or the lenders who were going to lend the city the money to build the giant parking garages. As it turns out, there's very little public parking in one of the garages, the big Garagezilla. Nobody was using it because of its location. So the city ended up leasing spots back to its own departments to make the project look solvent. The problem was that the thing was built so poorly that the ceilings are low enough that many of the big city vehicles can't fit in them anyway. The city also provides discount or even free parking as a benefit to its employees if they use that garage. So the city sort of leases it back to itself. It's this big eyesore in downtown Columbia, but it was built on the backs of students and service workers in downtown that frequent downtown who end up getting most of the parking tickets that are issued. So the city upped enforcement exponentially, and then more recently extended the times that they issue tickets. So they extended those into the evening to further target service workers, waitresses. Imagine you're a waiter or a waitress. It's rush hour. You've got a bunch of tables, and your meter's going to expire, and you've got to pay your meter till 7 p.m. in downtown Columbia. So all of a sudden you're racking up parking tickets. Now, in I guess the interest of honesty, I have a college-age son who racked up parking tickets. He's a bonehead college kid, like most of them are, or many of them are anyway. And the city counts on that, right? The city counts on irresponsible kids to rack up parking tickets. My son did that. I was not happy about it, of course, and that what was said to him from me was not nice. But anyway, so a couple months ago, I get a letter in the mail saying that I have some unpaid parking tickets. He drives a car that is registered to me. Said we're either going to impound your car or we're going to arrest you, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, he immediately gets word from me that, hey, you need to go pay these parking tickets. He said, Dad, sorry, I'll go pay them. And then a couple days later, I get a message from him saying, hey, those parking tickets are paid. I'm like, great, thanks. So that was in July. Friday night, his car gets towed. And he's surprised, said, Dad, I haven't had another parking ticket. I haven't even been driving the car. I've been riding my bike. He's moved out of downtown, so he wasn't down there getting parking tickets. It made sense to me. He had paid these parking tickets. So nonetheless, on Monday morning, I go down to the municipal court building where you pay your parking tickets and say, hey, what's going on? My son paid these parking tickets. I don't know. Apparently he hadn't paid them all. He went online, long story short, he paid the ones that he had in his glove box. He was missing a couple. The online system doesn't tell you what's owed, and he could have called down there to take care of it, but like I mentioned in the video that most in the modern world we can usually go online and check and see what we owe and pay it online, and it's a little bit difficult with the city because they have two different online payment systems that are run by third-party for-profit companies. If you go to the website listed on the back of your ticket, you go to one company. If you go to the website that's linked from the city's webpage, you go to another company. Neither company knows what money has been taken by the other company. And the city doesn't really know what tickets have been paid. They don't have an accounting of that. They just have money that comes in. So it's very confusing. I called down. A lady said, hey, I'm going to print out, I'm going to make you a list of everything that's owed, what was paid and what wasn't paid. And I get down there, and the guy ends up calling the one of the companies, and he gets a different batch of information. So none of it added up, and I was just trying to get it taken care of and get my car out of impound. And you'll see that in the video. So basically what the city has done, I mean, most of the downtown, the higher end business owners and bankers and whatnot, they have private parking, right? It's college kids and service workers, folks who can least afford to pay parking tickets, let alone have their car taken out of impounded and towed, that are targeted by this thing. And it's a pretty big scam. Anyway, let me show you a couple of these videos, and then I'll tell you a little bit of what happened after that.
AKNE.
Nurses always gotta have a pen.
Do you have some kind of
Yeah. You too.
Thank you.
Okay, but that's what he's looking for, a record of what was paid. It's R as in Richard, L, E as a boy, A-R, add. And A-R, GoColumbiaMo.com. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, they're gonna send me that, and I'll print it out for you.
Okay, thank you. And who had you called that company, or you called someone in the
I called
city?
the company. So this is what they received. That's the ticket numbers, the amount that he paid.
So I show you guys listing 4 tickets on this research she did. They show 3 that were paid online.
I'm kind of lost here what we're trying to figure out.
Well, the problem is that he was under the impression he had paid everything back in August, or he wouldn't have had the car. So I called down, and you hand me this. It says tickets paid online on 8/15. I've got $295, $031, $182, and $210, all for $30 a piece, paid online. And now you hand me a printout that says $210, $182, and $295.
Again, if he doesn't tell us, if he doesn't provide us the ticket numbers to pay, we're not going to pay him. So it's
Right.
We have
So-
to take responsibility to make sure we have it.
Right. Well, I guess I would be concerned that you gave me this that says it was 120 was paid that day, but now I show that 90 was paid that day. So we really don't know what's due.
I gave you a printout of what's due. Again, if he should have, if he was worried about it, he could have called us and made sure everything was paid in full instead of doing everything online.
Right. Yeah, ultimately most things in the modern world are paid online, and he's a young college kid,
if you're worried about a car being towed, you probably should take responsibility and call down here.
Right.
Because again,
So were these 4 paid online like the other employee here
I can only give you
pointed?
what we have. What I'm going to tell you, and I don't want to be rude, but this is what I show is $135. I can't stand here all day, and you're welcome to take that and look through it, but I'm not going to sit here and go through this all day.
You're not going to? They don't pay you enough for that?
No, I just don't see this going anywhere, and I've got court to do with it, so you're welcome to take that look at it, but there's $135 due to get his car out.
Okay. What's your name?
My name's Richard.
Richard?
You're welcome to call my boss, whatever, but
You're Richard? What's your last name, Richard?
I'm the only Richard in here, so that'll
So you're not going to give me your last name?
I don't see the point in it. I don't have to give you my last name.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pay you that $135. I'm going to get his car out.
Okay.
So we don't know if the information that you handed me just a moment ago.
What I can do for you, I'll give you Clancy's system, and you're welcome to call them and find out, but that's what they give me, and I can only go by what they sent.
So your coworker that researched these 4 tickets said these 4 were paid that day.
Again, I'm going to give you Clancy's number because I called them, you saw me call them, and that's what they provided me.
Right. Who do I make it to? Just City of Columbia?
City of Columbia. And I'm also going to give you this. This is my supervisor's phone number. If you want to, feel free to give her a call.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's the release and the receipt. That's what you need for them to get the car back.
Thank you. So I paid what I owed at the city, and or my son owed at the city, and I got my release. They said, go to Doug Perry Towing. They've got your car. I asked the guy how much it would cost to get the car out of impound, and he said very clearly that the towing companies charge whatever they want to charge. That's up to the towing company. So I said okay, went on my way. I recently had a car towed by another company in town, by Tiger Towing, and it was an insurance tow, and it cost me $85 for a pretty big car. So I had an idea of what a tow costs. And then, for some reason, I got the idea before I walked into the towing company that I would call them and see what they charge to tow from downtown out to their lot, right? So I call them up, and they said, hey, for a regular car, a normal tow is $50. If there's something special, like it's an all-wheel drive vehicle, what kind of vehicle is it? Well, it's a little it's a little 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive Subaru wagon, an old piece of junk that you wouldn't even think would run if you looked at it. But anyway, so it is an all-wheel drive vehicle. They said it would be $85. So I was like, okay, makes sense. So then I walk into the towing company, walk in the front door, and I'm like, hey, I need to get my car out. I've got my release here. Everything's fine. And she says, that'll be $245. And I was kind of taken aback by that. It had been towed on Friday evening, and I was there on Monday morning. And on Monday morning, so apparently they charged $25 a day. So the moment they put it on their lot, they tow it. You got an extra $25 added to what was a $100 tow charge instead of $50, and a $45 surcharge because it was an all-wheel drive vehicle. instead of the normal $35. So an extra $10, just because it was a police call, I guess. So the way she explained it, and you'll hear her explain it again. I asked her about it again, so I could get her explaining it. I think who I talked to was one of the owners, or maybe the owner's wife. I'm not sure, but either way, those who know her will probably recognize her voice. But the interesting thing was they charge double for the tow and charge an extra $10 for the surcharge plus $25, making it exactly double what it would be if you had the car. But nonetheless, the other thing to remember here is that towing companies they lobby the city to get a spot on their towing list, and what they do is there's 4 big companies. The other companies in town try to get on the list, try to get on the rotation, but they can't. But each of them gets a week where they're guaranteed these city calls. So it's they make it seem like they're doing the city a favor, doing some sort of service to the city. But really, they work very hard to get on that city list so that they get that monopoly for a week each month on taking those city tows, where the city allows them to lock your car up in a cage. You can't get it back unless you pay their fees, so they hike the fees up in order to just make extra money. And that's cash only too, which is weird, but you'll see that in these videos. Basically, I went in the first time to see what the deal was. I was taken aback by the price. I didn't have my son's key, so I left. When I came back, you'll see that there. My second visit, I go back in, and they were looking for me. They're like, "You're the guy that called. You're the guy that was here earlier." So by questioning the ethics of what they were doing, it raised some eyebrows, right? So they knew I was coming back. A guy named Dan helped me out the second time and the third time, and he was a nice enough guy, very polite. And then it lets me know that it's cash only. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? So I had both checkbook and my debit card and credit cards, whatever. But so I leave to go get cash. I come back and there is this kind of there's guys just staring at me, standing, not saying hi, welcome to our business, but literally standing with their arms folded in the lot, staring at me. I go inside, and again, Dan was nice guy, but there's another kid is videotaping me, like I'm going to do something, who knows what, He's got his phone out videotaping me. You'll see me as I'm counting my money out. I wave to him because I see him videoing me. And there's another guy standing in the doorway with his arms folded, just staring at me, like a pretty big guy. It was really, really weird. Like they were really threatened by someone questioning how they charge for these city tows. So let me show you a couple of those videos. There's 3 videos here. So hang on a minute now. So if I were to call you to have it towed, it'd be $50 to have it towed?
Well, it depends. Most of the Subarus are all-wheel drive, so they're $85.
It'd be $85, but you're charging me $145 because the police had it towed.
Correct.
So why is there a difference? I mean,
why? You know how hotels raise their rates when there's a football weekend or any of that kind of stuff? There's a different rate for different tows. It's just the way. Mother's Day brunch is more expensive than
basically
regular Sunday brunch.
You know that you're going to have this car locked up, and so you can hold people hostage with that, right?
No.
And it's $45 a day.
$25.
It's $25 a day.
Correct.
So
it's been here 4 days.
So it was here Friday evening. So I get a full day for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, even
Correct.
though I can't go down and take care of the tickets till.
You can.
So you
go
can
to the police department.
So you can pay him anytime.
Sure, you can.
All right. I gotta wait till I get the key to get it out. So how late are you here?
Here, I'll give you this back. 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Just bring that back with you.
So do all the towing companies charge extra when it's a
Sure they do.
police call?
Sure.
Okay.
Police call, insurance call. It just depends.
Right. So
I
get it.
Everything is raised for.
Right, you do the same work for a different job and you charge more for it.
Well,
I see how that works, right?
You know how hotels charge more for football weekends than they do for regular weekends.
Right.
Any of that. Mother's Day brunch charges more for Mother's Day than they do for regular Sunday brunch. Easter brunch. Same kind of thing. Same
not, it's
food.
very different.
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, I understand.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
You got his car back
What
there.
kind of car is it?
Little Subaru wagon.
Okay, you were in earlier, right?
I was.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Put a brake line and power steering filter hose on it.
She told you $245 today?
Yes.
Okay. She tell you how to pay? It's cash only?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why is it twice as much if
Well, the
I
reason why-
would have called you
like
at 4:30?
when you called earlier today and priced a tow with us,
Uh-huh.
I mean, depending on the vehicle, it's $50 to tow a car.
Mhm.
If it's all-wheel drive, it costs $85 if the customer calls us. But when parking enforcement calls us
Mhm.
or the police call us to have us towed, it's always higher.
Why?
It's just the way they do it. I don't know. I'm not the owner, but that's the way they.
It would be like if you called the air conditioner company in the middle of the night and you needed a repair. It'd be
This was
more.
at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, but we had to quit what we were doing to provide a service for not you, for someone else. And you had to pay.
Right. So if I'd have called at 4:30 in the afternoon, y'all would have come out and towed it, and it'd have been $85.
For your car,
If
Yeah.
you would have called, yeah,
we would have called. Yeah.
called us. But when parking enforcement calls us,
It's more.
every tow company raises the price.
Just
And that's
like-
just what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wish there was something we could do with the owners on here right now.
Right. The owners who I talked to today, right, was
Yeah.
one.
Doug Perry towing.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go get cash. I'll be back.
That was good.
What kind of car is it, sir?
Like a little receipt or?
Yeah, I'm gonna split it
Yeah.
off right now for you.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about your luck there, but they did a good job for you, so.
All right.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
All right, you got a driver's license? Thank you. What's your first name?
Mark
Last name?
Flackney,
FL.
AKNE.
Signature right there from you.
Just mine to keep.
Yes, sir. And you have your keys? Yeah. Give them to him or somebody know these.
The starter's unhooked on it, isn't it?
There's no key for the starter.
So how are you going to start it? How's he going to start it? Does it work?
Doug Perry towing?
I just took the
All right, give me just a second. We'll bring it around for you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.